Well, while we still have power, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Sam Martin.
Here.
Martha Eldridge.
Here.
And Rick Morgan's here. We did just have a non-public session upstairs with our tax collector, working out payment arrangements for folks who are behind on their property taxes, and I make a motion we seal those minutes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Public input. We have some visitors.
So we're the Schools Out Garden Club, and we came today to give you a thank you for helping get the hose set up over at the garden that's over by OCC. So you guys want to give them those? So the
Really
kids
nice.
put together flowers, and there are basil seeds in there. I don't know if they'll grow.
Okay.
Give one to each.
Very nice. Very nice.
No, we got one more. All right.
What's your name? Emily. What was it? Colby. Emily. Okay.
Nice to meet you all.
You want to pass those out? Each of you can get them one. Colby has this one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's very
And we
nice.
were trying to deliver some to the police station because they've been so willing to help us, and they were closed when we got there, so you can get that. Do you mind giving them to the police?
Not at all. We'll put it right in their box here at Town Hall.
Here, Emily, right here with the envelope.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Very nice. Thank you. That's a wonderful way to start the meeting. Everybody else will be so civil. Anybody else under public input? Jonathan?
Just got a question. Are you going to address the, I watched the meeting from last week regarding the voter registration numbers from each town or the school budget increase to each town? Are you going to hit those numbers today? Because I have them here if you don't have them.
Yeah, well, I have the actual, the increase numbers.
Yeah.
The budget increase this year and how it was allocated. The town of Brookfield's contribution went up $63,930. Effingham went up $219,114. New Durham went up $68,125. Ossipee went up $849,911. Tuftonboro went up $160,636. And Wilkesboro went up $1,108,315. What I'm not clear on at all, and if you can shed any light, please do. I presume it's all part of this 75-25, but I don't know that. How do you know how they arose at how much each town went up?
Actually, I asked that way back when the deliberative session happened, and they couldn't give me an answer. They said I'd have to sit down with the finance director to get that information because the superintendent nor the school board members understood it themselves. To be honest with you, that's the response I got, going way back. But the numbers, you have the dollar figure. I have it in cents per thousand.
Okay, please do.
So Brookfield went up 67 cents per thousand. Tuftonboro went up 17 cents per thousand. Wolfboro went up 52 cents per thousand. Ossipee went up $1.33 per thousand, which you know. Now, according to the deliberative session, New Durham went down 18 cents, even though you have a positive number there. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And Effingham, according to the deliberative session, went down $1.29, which doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So that's quite a big disparity.
I would think.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would be worth asking, writing a letter to the finance director at the school district and ask them if they can either, in the best case scenario, I guess, come and answer questions. Secondary would be to answer in writing and try to explain to us why, what the rationale was and how they arrived at those figures for each town.
And I just have some additional numbers, which are actually pretty shocking regarding the voter registration tallies by each town. and this is what's pretty sad, Ossipee has 3,186 registered voters as of April 2nd this year. And we only had how many come out and vote? 300? Huh?
I think there was just over one.
Right, whatever, so a tenth came out to vote. Effingham has 1,078 registered voters. Brookfield has 526. Wolfboro has 5,814. And Tufton Borough has about 2,000. New Durham I couldn't get, it wasn't listed. So those are the numbers for actually voter registrations.
Sad.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That sheds light on why things happen the way they have.
Well, yeah, and you can bet the 90% that didn't show up will be very vocal and very upset that their taxes are going up.
Right.
But that has always been, there are some years when we get into presidential elections and stuff and everybody starts singing the praises when you have 55% voter turnout.
Right.
When in my heart of hearts, if the turnout was 95%, I believe the question should still be where were the other 5?
Right.
It becomes a glass half empty, half full argument, but you know, if you're not a part of the solution, you are a part of the problem. I mean, and that's just there's no argument. But, I'll make a motion that we have our town administrator craft a letter to the finance director for the Government School District and ask if they would be willing to appear here to be able to answer our and citizen questions. And if that is not possible for any reason, that she or he provide some written explanation for the increase as it pertains to each different town. And we'll see what they say.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anything else, John? Anything else under public input? Greg?
This Saturday is the community block party at the gazebo. I encourage anyone in the local Ossipee area to come out and attend. It's the first time the Old Comeau committee has put this on. I think it's going to be, frankly, a lot of fun, and I just encourage, everyone to come out. Also, Mountainville Road from where Main Street comes to an end to the Catholic Church is going to have a lane. The lane's going to be blocked, but it'll be open for emergency vehicles and the local traffic on the road. So just keep that in mind if you're out and about traveling.
Old Home Week does kick off Friday night with this event, and I certainly encourage people to not only attend that, but the newspapers are out. They've got a very vibrant schedule of events throughout the week. They are all free. There's food available to be purchased, but you can go, you can listen to music. They're all free, and they're designed to be family friendly. And I encourage, there's a lot of work that goes into it, so I encourage people to get out and turn out and attend. It's a great time.
The paper's on the website too.
And the schedule is on the town website as well. Okay, thank you. Before I forget, we do want to announce too that we are looking for people to provide us with names of individuals who may be eligible for the Boston Post cane. It's a tradition which we revived a few years ago, and unfortunately the holder of the cane was passed, and we are looking to present that Boston Post cane to the next oldest resident of the town of Ossipee. So we have a couple of names, and if anybody has anybody that they know about that may qualify, I can tell you they're going to have to be older than 101 years and 11 months. But if you do know somebody that's older than that, please contact us so that we can get this right. Is there anything else under public input? Ed?
I just wanted to add that the one variable we have to account for is the student enrollment. So that's one thing.
Oh, yeah, that is
the
one.
enrollment
Right.
of New Durham may have went down. So we have to know how many students we actually have going. That factors into the apportionment form.
That's correct. All right, I'm going to start into the red folder. We have the minutes of the Selectmen's work session, which occurred on Monday, June 11th. I make a motion we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sam was absent, so she abstained. We have the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting, which occurred on Monday, July 11th. I make a motion we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
We have the check voucher totals. Payroll for week ending 6/16 was $41,269. Accounts payable for week ending 6/11 was $251,333.26. We also dispersed to the precincts $111,344 for a total dispersed last week of $403,946.35. Additionally, we had water and sewer accounts payable, which we track separately, in the amount of $4,251.93. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. These are again just the check voucher totals. We have a contract for use of facilities. This is for individuals to use the Chickville Church for a wedding in October of 2019, so they're getting on the schedule good and early. They paid the deposit. I make a motion we approve. All in favor? Aye. We have the Highway Department work log, which is here if anybody'd like to look at it. We have a veterans credit, which was applied for in a timely manner and was mixed in with some other paperwork. The person does, in fact, meet the requirements, and I make a motion we approve it. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a request for an abatement. It's map 2, lot 22. There's been no change in the assessment. Our assessor recommends that we deny any abatement. Met with the owner and spoke with him regarding the listing information on his property. The taxpayer did not allow a complete inspection of the property, therefore I was unable to verify all of the assessing information. Consequently, there is no way for me to determine if they are in fact agreed. I make a motion we deny any abatement. All in favor? Aye. By way of explanation, if you are alleging that you are aggrieved in your assessment, you must allow our assessor in to do their job. You don't have to let them in, but if you choose not to let them in, then we have no way of knowing whether or not you are assessed properly. And it then becomes just a square footage issue, and it is what it is. This is a request for abatement. This is on map 258, lot 12. The original assessment was $199,600. The revised assessment is $126,300. Results in a refund or abatement of $1,594.28. Our assessor recommends that we grant this abatement with a complete inspection with the property owners. They provided with pictures of water damage that existed prior to April 1st, 2017. Since then, they've invested roughly $80,000 to correct those items. He's adjusted the building downward for the year 2017 only because the repairs have been made and will be taxed in 2018. I make a motion we approve it. All in favor? Aye. We have a request for abatement. Original assessment was $615,500. The revised assessment is $537,400. Results in a refund or abatement of $1,679.15. Our assessor recommends we grant it. The complete inspection with the property owner, given the property owner provided an appraisal of $400,000. Our assessor says he's given the appraisal the weight it deserves. The taxpayer says the cost to construct the building was $300,000. Additionally, I reviewed the land adjustments for the properties immediately to the south on both sides of the road. The revised land condition should be 270. And these items are changed, the difference should be abated. I make a motion to approve it. All in favor? Aye. We have a contract for use of facilities. This is UNH Cooperative Extension. Wants to use the gym, tables and chairs. A gardening seminar for the general public on July 25th. The schedule's been okayed by Craig. They've paid a deposit. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have the warrant for unlicensed dogs. Pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 466-14 entitled Warrants and Proceedings, you are hereby directed to proceed forthwith to either collect, this is to the tax collector, to either collect the fees due the town of Ossipee, be turned over to the town clerk, or seize an unlicensed dog for holding in an appropriate holding facility. Pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 466-16 entitled Returns, you have until 7/2/2018 to return this warrant with a statement as to whether all the unlicensed dogs in Ossipee have been seized and held under the provisions of this chapter, and whether complaints have been entered against all the persons who have failed to comply with the provisions. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. I don't know what the count is now, but we used,
It's on the back.
how many?
92?
92. And the last thing I knew, we had over 700 licensed dogs, so I don't know how many we have now.
92 down.
92 that aren't. We have a notice of intent to cut wood. This is on map 9, lots 1 and 14. It's on Route 16, 28 acre parcel, 10 acres to be cut. Judith Allen is the owner. Cole Boggs is the logger. The taxes have been paid. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a notice for an announcement. The Ossipee Lake Alliance is having a forum at the Freedom Town Hall on Saturday, August 25th at 10 a.m. with Jim Gallagher of the New Hampshire DES Dam Committee as the presenter. He'll be filling everyone in on the rebuild of the dam, which is now scheduled to begin in early fall. This will be open to the public, and we hope it will have widespread interest in the three towns. Please announce to your respective town committees as saved the date, and we will have more publicity coming late summer. We have a update from DOT. This is on the twin bridges on Route 16. It's Bridge Project 14749. We're planning to advertise for construction on July 24th and hope to have a contractor on board in November of 2018. We depend on the contractor to set the actual construction activity schedule, so we will know more late winter or spring about the specific dates activities will occur. We anticipate the construction will be complete in the summer of 2021. We'll be having a public hearing in the spring of 2019 for the town of Ossipee, project stakeholders, the public, and surrounding towns impacted by the detour route. We have updated the communication plan on the webpage. We added the school bus transportation contacts, so they will be kept informed as the project progresses. It's here in the folder if anybody would like to look at it. That's it. The twin bridge is on Route 16, over the back there. We still have the two bids on the work to be done at the fish hatchery. Did anybody review these?
Yes, Brad and Steve both did.
And what are your thoughts?
Steve and I talked about them, kind of determined that they seemed very reasonable, and we recommend going ahead with them.
I guess my only concern is that in both of these cases, they asked for half the money in advance. I don't have a problem necessarily with materials in advance, and having the materials delivered to the site, but I think past that, that's kind of not a process that we've normally done to give people a chunk of money up front.
don't think it'd be reasonable to ask for their quote on the materials for each of those two projects. And then that could be used as the basis for the down payment, so that he doesn't get labor money up front, like you said, so.
That was my understanding. So I'll make a motion that we proceed with contracting with Drew and Son Builders to do these two jobs at the fish hatchery. But I would also, I guess we'll have Brad contact him to provide the materials list and costs so that I don't have a problem with that being official.
That sounds good to me.
All right. Is there a second?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. We have a letter from to the Board of Selectmen, from the Conservation Commission, dated June 13th. The Ossipee Conservation Commission at the June 13th, 2018 meeting requests the Selectmen to appoint Ron Adams to the Conservation Commission as an alternate. We also welcome any suggestions you have for new members.
I'll make a motion to deny the request.
There's been a motion made to deny that request. Any discussion?
I guess I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. We have a notice of decision. This is from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. This is on case number 18-7-V. Don't see where it was said. They were granted a conditional variance in accordance with Article 6.4.2. It's here if anybody'd like to look at it. This is a notice of decision from the zoning board on case number 18-6-V. Remley Road was granted a variance to build an addition with a garage. We have a notice of decision from the zoning board of adjustment. This is case number 18-5-V. Sullivan Way. They were granted a variance to keep an existing addition, evidently. Notice of decision from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. This is 18-2-SE, Doors Corner Road. Was granted a special exception. The notice of decision from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. This is on case number 18-3-V. There's a rehearing of Granite Recovery LLC. And they were granted a conditional variance to operate a sober living facility transition home on Grant Hill. We have a notice of decision. This is on case number 18-1-SE, Fillion Road. They were granted a conditional special exception. I think it's just to do a septic system. We have a payroll reimbursement request from the Water and Sewer Department in the amount of $3,644.57. I make a motion to sign. All in favor? We have a water and sewer warrant instructing our tax collector to collect $40 and no cents. I make a motion to sign it. All in favor? Aye. We have a water and sewer warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $11,790 even. I make a motion to sign. All in favor? Aye. That concludes the red folder. Old business. Anything new, Brett, on 28-171?
Did reach out, I didn't hear back before I came out to the meeting today, to find out, an update on it basically. And all I can say is what I was told last time is that it is scheduled for next year, scheduled to go out to bid late summer, early fall this year. And they do plan on holding another informational hearing here when it gets to that stage. So, but when I do get it, I will definitely update the board again. So.
Thank you. Route 16 bridge, which is the update we had in the folder earlier. Anything new on sidewalks, Brad?
No, they've had it about 2 weeks now. I was gonna give them another week before I start. If I didn't hear anything, I'd start calling and just seeing if there's anything they need from us or prod them along a little bit that way.
Okay. Covered bridge, anything new?
I also reached out to them, to both the DOT and Hoyle Tanner, to get an update on, because they've had the final design for about a month now. That should be getting approved any time now, which would give us the authority to go out to bid. So I'm looking for that answer this week here to have, guidance on that to where we're at.
And transfer station fees, we're meeting with you Monday, this coming Monday, next Monday?
We're gonna push it back one more week because there's a vacation.
Okay,
So we're for the July.
okay. July 9th, we're planning on meeting with Brad and we'll talk some more. Anything else under old business? Okay. On the new business, we had a luncheon today, and we're pleased to announce that this year's the Employee of the Year for 2017 was Tricia Hodge, who works in the town clerk tax collector's office. She has been here for more than 30 years and absolutely epitomizes what a town employee should be. And it was a very nice luncheon, and it was a very well-deserved honor for her. Under new business, I got Town Beach at Duncan Lake.
Yes. So it's just been an issue this year, in the same with classes, trying to keep the beach clean. And one thing that we're running into is this year is Chris Benham. He's been at the dump a lot of the time, so it's basically we're just not staffed enough to keep up with the demand because people aren't showing respect. And I just wanted to get it open and talked about, and also where the walk down to get to the beach, there was some of the bigger bricks were falling out, and initially I thought it was erosion, but apparently people are taking their four-wheelers and their bikes down that, and it's really starting to tear it up.
Have you communicated any of that information on that part of it to the police department at all?
I just found it a little.
Okay. Let's make sure and make them aware of that.
Yep.
They may well know who that is. Be able to address that part of it. Brad, any thoughts on, has Chris been over at the dump a lot?
Been over there quite a bit, yeah, between the vacations and sick time over there. We've kind of minimized it to not necessarily keep 3 people there all the time, but sometimes in the morning we'll put them over there when they're trying to do some bailing. So that we have 2 people doing that and still have a person up top observing everything. So we've been putting them in there for 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, and bringing them out, trying to keep up with the mowing and stuff, and all the other pickup stuff.
And I know we're always doing the juggle, but is it possible for him the first hour, if the first half hour, it shouldn't take that long to go down there and police up that beach? It would seem to me probably Monday being most important after the weekend, but
We were trying to get him there, I was trying to get him there at least twice a week, and I had Craig's talked to him about maybe 3 times a week. I was trying to get him there Mondays and Fridays, so it's clean for the weekend. And it's just, been difficult to get the hours there to do it. Between doing that, and we don't have just the beach, we also have the Y field, Constitution to police, the park up by Mill Pond Dam, which isn't as bad up there and stuff, but pretty much the Y field and the Duncan Lake Beach are the 2 that gather the most trash. People seem to just like to leave stuff there.
David? Full time?
I don't know.
Sorry.
And I think a lot of the trashing's it's happening at night because someone had a bonfire pretty recently down there, which it wasn't reported, but it's definitely clear on the beach what's going on there.
You can a weekend, but if you would reach out to the chief
Yeah,
and just make sure that he's aware of that stuff, because
Yeah.
he'll just get it on the schedule for a patrol and they'll get in there and get checking.
Yeah. Really, I'd like to somehow figure out a way to keep track of, how many people are going in and out of there, but there's really no way of tracking it.
I should speak on that. An easy solution is a wireless battery solar-powered surveillance camera. They're so cheap now, And the fact that that's there with a sign and it's up on a pole, that would probably cut out 90% of your problems. And you wouldn't need to be picking up garbage or patrolling it. And they're cheap. The technology is
The
coming
garbage,
in.
I'm not at all opposed to that idea, and I think it can be very helpful. The garbage has always been an issue, it always will. It's posted as carry in, carry out, but we all know how that goes.
But now you know if you're on camera, you're gonna really probably think twice.
What if we were to do a community picnic at the beach that would bring people in to do something fun and maybe build pride in that space? You could even include a little bit of like cleanup or painting or something that, I think if kids that are here are involved in, parts of the cleanup or parts of building up that community, then they might have pride in their community, and then next year or when they grow up, they'll be less likely to trash it.
I think it's a great idea, and I'm not trying to throw it back in your lap at all, but that's one of, I would love to get this committee up and going, and I know everybody's busy, but I think it's a great idea. Would you be interested in working with Craig?
I would, yes.
And see if we, I think it's a great idea. The more we can let people, and let them know it's there, and I think one of the other things that is a natural thing that happens with public spaces, the more respectful people utilize a particular area, the less the disrespectful people will. That's just a fact. We still have a real, very real opioid problem in this area. There are certain areas of town where we are regularly picking up quantities of hypodermic needles. There's a real problem, and the more places are lit, the more places are frequented by, again, people who will be being respectful of the property, the better off we're all going to be. Asher.
I had the pleasure of riding with Craig one day around to our parks, and one of the things about that beach is it does have a gate right in front of it, and it seems to be the who does it kind of problem. As the selectmen of the town and leaders of the town, can't you make the decision to just say it's your job to make sure that's locked?
Yeah, I guess it's a problem with school. I can tell you that years ago, and I mean years and years and years ago, the police used to go in there and lock it up at 8 o'clock at night. That, over time, as things got busier and busier with more and more calls, that became less of a solution. Past that, the problem is we don't have any employees out that late. So, why don't we get this on the agenda? Let's meet with either the chief or lieutenant. See if they can come in next Monday afternoon. We can cross a couple of those bridges as well.
Yeah, can we, I have to have a medical thing I need to attend, but so can we do it the following week?
Yep. And then let's try to brainstorm, come up with some ideas and maybe ways that we can help it.
That sounds great.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Unless you're going on. What was the bids for the fish hatchery? How much are they?
I'm sorry. We did not from last week. I didn't bother doing the amounts this week. Hold on. The first one was for the siding, was $8,400. And the other is for the metal roofing on both buildings, and that is $8,800. Both of those amounts, by the way, we will be requesting to be reimbursed by the Conservation Commission. The Conservation Commission runs a fund, and one of the monies that goes into the fund is the rent that the people at the fish hatchery pays. So it seems only prudent that that would be reimbursed out of monies that they have collected for rent. By way of explanation, those were a couple of things were identified by our building inspector as of improvements or maintenance that really needed to be done down there. The siding in particular, there is a genuine concern that paint on the outside of that building is most likely lead-based. And the people that rent it have children. So they'll be, as part of this, it will be encapsulated and then sided over, which will, I believe, will remediate a potential problem. Signage at town boat ramps and recreational facilities.
So at the boat launches around town, most of them just have actually all of them just have like the generic park sign that says you can swim there, and just a lot of stuff that doesn't pertain to like a boat launch. And what I would like to do is update that information and put up new signs that say, no swimming allowed, or you shouldn't be allowed to swim at that boat launch because it's not a town beach. And basically just update that. And also at White Pond. White Pond isn't owned by the town of Ossipee, but we have a Ossipee facility sign there. I think we should remove all Ossipee signs from there.
I would agree that the sign should be removed from White Pond.
Yeah.
It's not our ramp. The other ones, I guess what I would like to see is on a case by case, what you propose to replace the signs with.
Yeah. Which I've reached out to a lot of the local rec departments, and most of them really don't have policies set in place. And a lot of these ponds are obviously run by the state, but they don't necessarily have all the rules up there. Like Duncan Lake, you're not allowed to go over 6 miles per hour. Like that's not posted there, and I think it's worthwhile posting that. Someone complained on Duncan Lake, the second island, I don't know which island that is, that last year a loon's nest was lost because of all the human interaction, and that's a private island as well. So they wanted something posted to stay away from it.
That's not town.
Yeah.
Certainly not a recreation function.
Yeah, which I agree with that, but the boat launches do fall underneath the town, and
Yeah.
I just think we need to update it, make it very specific to a boat launch.
Well, if you can just come in with with what you recommend for signage on each individual place, and then we'll work with Brad on getting those signs ordered. I don't have any opposition to that. Anybody? Okay. Anything else under the new business? Okay. Anybody else have anything in public input? Quiet. See, kids set the tone.
I just have one thing to talk about the walkway there at Duncan Lake.
Yep.
Okay? I know that one side you have basically an asphalt runway, I call it too, going down. And the other side's got those steps, and they put in what I call wooden drain facilities. And I'm saying, I don't know why you can't just put cement steps down through there.
At Duncan Lake, you're saying?
Yeah, Duncan Lake.
But it needs to be wheelchair accessible.
It already is, that ramp they got on the other side.
The ramp over there is too steep. That's the reason we put those drains in, then we have the boards over the top for the wheelchairs to travel over those open wood drains, because that better meets the grade than the paved ramp we have there.
That's like that presents a challenge. And one of them is how high it is above the water. And you got a relatively short distance to go from that height where you park down to where you could actually use the beach. So, did you hear his explanation? Were you able to hear it? Okay.
I'm saying, if you put them, what I'm saying, you put two landings in there, where you change directions, so you don't have to take it all down from the top to the bottom, straight down. That's all. You just, to me, it'd be safer and less maintenance after the fact.
I think maybe to go along with the fact that Craig is talking about the parks and rec and stuff, I feel like as a town we need to prioritize some of those facilities. If you're in a place, if you're visiting a place and you see things that are run down and just not getting that repair, nobody, you don't think well of it. And if we're going to be inviting other towns to come and play sports in our fields, it'd really be nice to put like a good foot forward you know, like Constitution Park or any of the fields that the kids are in, the baseball field here. I feel like as a community, it should be a priority and it shouldn't be allowed to be run down.
I agree. We actually met with Greg this spring, and Brad, and one of the things that we've asked for, we need to do some work out of Constitution Park in particular, but one of the first things that needs to happen out there is we've got to address the water situation. We don't have enough, the well over there doesn't provide enough water to irrigate all of the fields that they want that we already have, never mind to add to it. So Brad is working on getting together proposals to improve the water system first. And then we've asked Craig and Brad collectively to give us a list of what needs to be done so that we can then attach a priority and a spending plan and how we're going to get it done and in what period of time. It will depend on how much it costs as to how many years it will take, but it needs to happen.
So along the same lines as Joy, will the town leadership entertain a capital reserve fund specifically for the Parks and Rec Department?
Yes. Again, one of the things we talked about, we almost put money into it this year, but decided until we have a plan in place, that we can then say to the voters, listen, you know, we're looking at spending, well, I don't know whether it's going to be 200,000 or 800,000. I don't have any way of knowing yet. Once we have that, to then be able to say to them, yes, and this is how we want to accomplish it, and these are the stages that we want to accomplish it, and I am a firm believer in capital reserves, so that if it ends up being $50,000 a year, so be it. I'm okay with that, if that's what it needs to have it happen. But then you're not doing these great big seesaws. You're doing that same consistent $50,000 a year, and we'll get it done.
I mean, I'm not really sure how it works. When we sign our kids up for baseball, and that's all we've really done outside of like rec here. When we do baseball, it's through the Cal Ripken, and you have to pay a fee. And I believe I was told that that fee went towards like taking care of the fields. But I'm thinking it might be the Wolfboro fields. Is that? Do we get any of that to take care of our fields?
Cal Ripken is separate from the rec. Now, using the fields, the NIC charges a pretty hefty price. So the NIC is separate from the Wolfboro Parks and Rec. They're just their own separate nonprofit, and their fees are really steep.
So what's that fee go to then that I'm paying?
The maintenance of the NIC.
So it's paying for that.
Yep.
But I'm signing my kids up for Ossipee baseball. So,
Yeah, it's just the Kingwoods Cal.
alright. I mean, can we fix that? Can we make arrangements with them for some of that to come back here?
We can.
Let's just start showing Cal Ripken League.
I mean, some of it's just an agreement.
Yeah, the Cal Ripken League serves a great purpose. It was designed to get
well
the
done.
kids in the school district playing within the school district, which I think is a great idea. You know, the issue with the NIC is that it's so expensive, and even the high school is pulling the sports away from there because they don't want to necessarily have to pay that fee. But I mean, that's a conversation worth having with the NIC.
I mean, I don't mind paying for sports, but if we're
Yeah.
sitting here unable to use our fields properly and we're inviting other towns in, I mean, they're using all these fields, right?
Cal Ripken, I know, uses the school primarily. That doesn't fall under the parks. That falls under the schools. But
Yeah, they usually use Constitution Park for practices. There's no games that are hosted there.
yeah. Which I totally agree with your argument. The NIC is incredibly expensive.
Well, that's how they make it look so nice. It looks
Yeah,
very nice.
yeah,
It's-
it's like
you
a
know, you
putting
could bring
green
anyone in
service
and they'd
field.
be jealous.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we could have fields like that if we were able to put the time in.
But the field over here is gorgeous. School field.
Yeah, the school field is.
Great.
Now, the Parks and Rec doesn't oversee that field, though. That falls underneath the Ossipee Central School and the school district.
Use permit?
Oh, yeah, I do use a use permit, but I'm not in charge of maintaining that field.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
So, Brad, where do we stand on getting something on the water or assessing the well out there?
We're gonna get going on that. We're gonna be in there tomorrow, actually restoring the power back to the well area there. That was all kind of hung through that overhang that blew over last year. So our power line's just hanging in the air and they've been shut off now. So our well's not even running right now and stuff. So that's gonna be fixed tomorrow. So that's all back before the 4th of July. Then we'll get the company in there this summer here to test the well, give us our flow rates, capacity, so we can sit down and see what we need and if it'll supply or not, or if we have to put another well in, if we can redo that one. You know, we don't know what direction to go yet till we test it. So.
I think you're gonna hit nothing but sand and clay until you get to the aquifer. So. Right. Okay, anybody else have anything else on the public input? If not, I make a motion we adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.